Namaskar, I'm Harpreet Kaur and I welcome you all to our live and interactive online training session on artificial intelligence or AI in education. Well, this is the umbrella theme that we are having for this particular training week, and under this theme we are discussing different subjects, different topics. We are bringing in new experts each day. We all know that this is a 5-day, 5-hour training session where each day from Monday to Friday, 1 hour between 4 and 5 p.m. is dedicated to our online training session where we talked about various aspects that are covered under our umbrella theme. Today is day 4 of this training session and we will be talking about AI for inclusive education. We all know that National Education Policy 2020 also talks about inclusivity in education, and as such also we are talking about inclusive education, how to bring people who are differently able into mainstream when it comes to education or other areas and domains of life. So we are having a lot of questions that we will be asking to our expert. I'm sure you also must be having. So why don't you contact us and be with us during the session? Why don't you participate? Let me tell you that you're watching this session live and interactive on PME Vidya channels from 6 to 12 and also on our YouTube channel NCERT Official. If you have a question, call us on 8800440559. If you wish to write an email to us, we have a dedicated email ID and that is training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. Last but not the least, you are watching us live on our YouTube channel NCERT Official. You can go to the comment section, put in your questions there. Any suggestions, feedback from your side is also welcome. So, this session is extremely important and is organized by CIET NCERT in collaboration with Commonwealth Educational Media Center for Asia, that is CIMCA. Let me repeat that we are going to talk about artificial intelligence, AI in education. Under this umbrella theme, today we will be discussing AI for inclusive education, and for that we are joined by our expert in the studio. We are joined by Mr. George Ibrahim. Sir is Chief Executive Officer from SCORE Foundation, New Delhi. Sir, namaskar and very warm welcome to the session.
Well, namaskar and thank you for having me on this session.
Right. Sir, before I jump on to questions, directly, I want to ask you one simple question. What exactly we are looking forward to? What are the main points that you will be covering in the session?
Well, I think we'll start by getting a general understanding of what inclusive education is, and then we look at some of the challenges that different stakeholders face, the system faces, and I guess we will also then look at what are the gaps and how AI, artificial intelligence, can bridge these gaps. AI is a very evolving subject and it's an evolving space, and we might not have all our solutions and answers today, but over time, I believe that AI is going to be a very, very strong ally of teachers and of the students as well, because I think the learning process also will undergo a change in time.
True.
So I think AI is something here to stay, and I think it's going to be evolving. And we'll also discuss some tools that people are using today, may not be in education, but potentially they can be used in education as well.
Right. So since you have set an outline, my very first question is related to the topic directly, that what do we mean by inclusive education, because we have been using this term of late quite often, and what kind of challenges do teachers as well as students experience while facilitating inclusive education and at the same time receiving it?
Now, broadly speaking, inclusion is the operative word. Now, India is a country with a lot of diversity. There are diversities at various levels. You have the linguistic diversity, you have the gender diversity, you have the social diversity, the economic diversity, and you have the ability diversity, which is probably the focus of today's discussion. And the idea is that we as a country, this diversity lives together. We exist together.
Yes.
In various systems and various processes. Life goes on. When you get into a train, you find that all kinds of people are in the train.
Yeah.
So that's an inclusive travel that's happening there. So likewise, when you talk about the classroom, we're talking about a classroom where the diversity of the country is present. And So people with disability also needs to be present in this diversity. According to the 2011 census, there were about 22 odd million or 26 odd million people in the country who are disabled. But then the RPWD Act, which is the Rights for Persons with Disability Act 2016, recognized 21 different disabilities, while the 2011 census were talking about just 7 disabilities, right? So automatically, I believe the 26 million by itself would have grown in the last 15 odd years. But when you talk about the 21 million, the 21 distinct disabilities which have been recognized by the government of India, that number is going to be huge, and they're all going to be in your classroom. And I also remember while growing up, you have the question of some people being bright, some people being not so bright, some people being gone cases. Now I believe every human being has potential and possibilities. And maybe it is our classroom which becomes a parameter which starts creating these classes of students.
Right.
Because a teacher comes and teaches a subject in a particular way. Some people understand it, some people don't. Now mathematics is taught. There are many people you will meet who will say mathematics is my favorite subject. In fact, I am one of them. But there will be many people who will say that mathematics is a tough subject. And that is because of the initial experience that people have had in the classroom, where they found it difficult to understand the communication that comes through from the teacher. So one of the important aspects of good teaching to a diversity is the ability of the teacher to communicate.
Yes.
And communication is not just the language and the vocabulary that the person uses, but I think it's also to do with the channels of communication. Now if there is a person in the classroom who cannot see, and the teacher uses the blackboard or the whiteboard to explain something, the visually impaired student who is in the class will not be able to follow. So that is a challenge which comes up. Now if the student in the class is hearing impaired, deaf for instance, then nothing that the teacher is saying is heard. So he is going to be in deep trouble. So okay, some of the written work might be understood, but there are a lot of barriers that deaf people face in the classroom. Now there are different levels of intellects. We broadly call them sweeping say that okay, they are intellectually challenged, but here you have people with spasticity, you have people with that's cerebral palsy, there are people with autism spectrum, there are various levels of it. Now these all these people come in with different skills to the classroom, and they have different ways of imbibing knowledge. So I think the system needs to be, I don't want to put the blame on the teachers, because teachers are trained in a specific way. And so we need to understand, how do children actually imbibe knowledge? How do they access knowledge and information? What is the level of a person's understanding? In the same class you will have people with different levels of understanding. So that people have to be mindful. And then subjects. Now you're taught a subject in a particular way. Now how does the teacher reach the classroom? Meaning he or she does his schooling, comes to the degree course, and then does a B.Ed, which is the Bachelor of Education, goes into teachers training programs. Now the question to be asked is, do these teachers training programs actually take on board the fact that there is a diversity in the classroom?
Yeah, true.
And are they being equipped to handle these challenges? And to my experience and knowledge, the teachers training programs dealing with disability has been handed over to another section which is called special education. Now special education, special people, they are still citizens of the country, they are still children of the country, they are still the future of the country, and I believe all of them have a right to be part of the system, part of the classroom, and empowered together. And we need to keep the child as the center rather than our ability to communicate or our ability to reach out. I think the emphasis on communication has become more and more important in today's day and age. When I was growing up, for example, there were very little children with disability who actually were seen in schools.
Yeah.
So at that time there would be just the 1 or 2 odd children here and there. Then the parents, the teachers collaborate, they discuss the challenges and they've come up with solutions, and the peers also were encouraged to play a role. So inclusion actually happened organically those days.
Yes.
But today 5% reservation or 4% reservation is given to children with disability in school education and college education, and therefore every class tends to have children with disability. And it was 1995 when the government seriously decided, or it was in the mid-90s when the government seriously decided to push the agenda of inclusive education. Earlier it was called integrated education. Now when this inclusive education was pushed, that's when the teachers realized that this is a very, very difficult platform to handle.
True.
Because people were so different from each other, and if I say something, as a teacher say something, 2 people will understand it, the rest might not, and then by the end of the week you'll find a lot of people dropping out. So I think the teachers training is very critical. The scenario is changing, the landscape is changing very rapidly. A lot of technology is coming in, and remember, our government is now focusing on digital India. So digital India in a few years time will reach the grassroots. Today we say that okay, in the grassroots levels the connectivity is poor and so on, but all that's going to improve. And I think we are going to move from textbooks and books and paper to the digital space. As it is, people are saying that trees are being depleted, don't use paper and so on. So I think the focus is digital, and I think our teachers need to kind of take that on board and actually demand for being empowered to handle digital India and be able to bring in digital India into the classroom, because your students also tomorrow are going to get into a workspace which is totally digital, and if you don't introduce them to the school, they're going to be wondering how to handle it. You will have to go for special computer courses, which is not really necessary if you are actually going to do your classwork with digital lessons. So I think there are a lot of issues to my mind that needs to be addressed in a very raw form, including all children in the original form of how education was conceived in India in the 1970s, 80s and so on. In inclusion, there are a lot of challenges, but I think digital India has given you a lot of opportunities, and now with AI coming in, I believe the scene could be much different.
Well, things are looking brighter, and you highlighted some of the very important points here, right? Everybody's capability is different, learning level is different, dealing with difficulty is different, and AI definitely, it enhances creative learning, it also encourages personalized learning, it supports teachers, so it is impacting education in a big way, no doubt about that. But so here I want to ask you, since we talked about what inclusive education is, you also mentioned some of the challenges that are faced by teachers and students alike. How do you think artificial intelligence is going to support inclusive education? Do you think it's going to replace teachers altogether, or it is like some kind of co-pilot that will assist the teachers in dealing with the situations?
I would say that it's not going to replace the teachers. The teachers, to my mind, are the actual driving force behind education. You used the word pilot. I think they are the people who will continue to drive and define what happens in the classroom and how children will learn.
Right.
But I think it's very important to take on board the fact that in the West, for example, especially in the US and some of the other countries, artificial intelligence has started showing up in almost every aspect of professional work, and there are a lot of tools that are coming in, and I think when we in the US, I was reading that the film industry went on strike because a lot of the script writers and directors and so on, they just suddenly felt that AI is going to take over. And that might be the feeling that many teachers also might have, that AI is going to take over. No way, AI is not going to take over. AI is only a tool, and the tool will be used the way it is told, the way it is actually instructed to be used. So the teachers would be relevant, but I think the criticality would be that the teachers have to learn AI, understand AI, and use it to their advantage. For example, I believe lesson plans, for example, lessons. Now in your classroom, you have different kinds of students. When I was growing up, there were 40 children in my classroom. My daughter, when she was in school, there were about 60 people in the classroom.
Yeah.
And that number is just increasing.
Number is increasing, yes.
So, and even if there are no disabled children in the class, there is a diversity in the class.
Yeah.
Different people come from different backgrounds, their frames of references are different, their contexts are different, and their beliefs are different. And therefore, I think if you want quality citizens to come out of our education system, you need to reach out to them individually, and perhaps AI will give you an opportunity to do that, because you have the opportunity to process the data of the students that are in your class with the help of AI, and then you can use AI to actually plan your classes, your agenda. You have a syllabus, and you might actually, student A, student B, student C, there are 3 different types of students. You might like to develop lesson plans which are specially designed for each of them. And obviously teaching will become a more collaborative operation.
Yeah.
It's not going to be delivering standing in front or standing on stage with a mic in hand or with a blackboard. It's going to be on digital platforms, and you're going to be interactive. There's going to be collaboration. The children are going to be also doing their own bit when it comes to participating in the classroom, and the teachers also need to be able to move from being content deliverers to being facilitators, and you use AI tools to actually help you become facilitators. So I believe it's important that you familiarize yourself. There's a lot of free AI platforms available on the internet, which I'm sure you can use. You can download many of them onto a phone or on your laptops or computers, and you can actually play around with them, explore how AI can actually help you with your lecture preparations, your research work. You have a lecture to do on a particular topic. Your textbook is one source of your information, but you might want to do your own research, and AI can help you do that research.
Yes.
And then you have children with multilingual presence in the class. AI can help you translate your lessons into multiple languages. So you could have Hindi speaking students as well as English speaking and Kannada speaking students in the same classroom, and you can provide them with lessons in their language easily without having to go to a professional translator. You can actually get AI to translate the lectures, the lessons for you. So that there's so many things that you can actually do with and then you are able to, at the end of the class, maybe provide each student with a summary of what you've taught.
Yeah.
So that they take away something. So learning and teaching could become much easier with these learning tools, AI around. There are also situations where I've seen you give the AI a page of text, and you can generate a voice to actually speak it out. So even if the teacher is, for example, deaf and mute or mute, he wants to take a class, he can use, there was this young girl I met in Lucknow, Sarah Moin. She's blind, and she can't hear.
Oh.
And as a result, her speech is not very clear.
She can't speak, yeah.
So she was wondering how, if she was a teacher, how she could manage. So I was telling her that you can generate voices on AI. Your lectures can be voice enabled by AI. So all you need to do is to play your voice and interact with the class, and then so there are various avenues available, and these avenues are only increasing.
Yeah.
So that's why the space is becoming more and more exciting. And you want to do research. You want, say you talking about the Second World War, and you want to prepare a lesson on a particular aspect of the Second World War. All you need to do is give instructions. I want a 1,000-word document telling me about this particular aspect of the war, and you will get a full-fledged write-up. So if once you read it, you have further questions, you can ask those questions and have AI refine it further for you. So that so your teaching material becomes much easier to generate, and then you can actually figure out as to how you want to share it with your students. If there is a blind student, you might want a voice generated this one, or you might want the text to be emailed to the person so that the blind student can use a screen reading software and read it.
Yeah.
And if it is a deaf student, you can have AI do captioning for you when you speak out the lesson. You might have seen it on Zoom calls and so on. There is a function called captioning. So that is actually capturing the essence and captioning it as text.
Yeah.
So there are so many of these, and then there is captioning. Then there are tools to summarize, convert text to speech, convert speech to text. So these are all avenues, and then content generation. So all these are tools and platforms available for teachers to actually kind of empower and strengthen their hands and move from being a content deliverer to a facilitator, and education becomes a partnership where content is generated from both ends, and then they are processed and interacted and understood from both ends. So that I think education is going to undergo a sea change when AI comes into the country in a big way.
Absolutely, sir. You have mentioned all the important points, how it is assisting teachers and how it can assist students, and content can be teacher centric if required. It is learner centric already.
Yeah.
So definitely these days when we talk about inclusivity, we also talked about connecting last mile learner with the education. We do not want anybody to lag behind. We want everybody to come at the front and receive same kind of attention, same kind of opportunities which are possible through AI. So after learning how AI can support education and is already bringing a kind of revolution in teaching learning scenarios, what according to you are some of the AI tools that are available to us which can promote inclusive education?
Yeah, I'll probably start with some of the tools I use because that's a good place to start. It's always good to start at home, as they say. So
Yeah.
the first thing I like to talk about is ChatGPT. Now ChatGPT is probably the most well-known AI tool in the country. And OpenAI, it's a chat.openai.com is the platform, and it's a free platform to a certain extent. If you are serious about using ChatGPT, then you can get on to a paid version, but I have been using ChatGPT for a while now, and I've used the free version. Now ChatGPT starts off with, you can ask it to research, you can ask it to give you information, it can ask you to edit, you can ask it to I'm a music fan, and I've also asked it to provide me with lyrics which of old 1970, 1960 Kishore Kumar songs. I've asked it to get. So it's quite versatile, and then
Very wonderful, yeah.
you write your biodata and give it in, and it'll edit it for you, and they'll give you different formats of your
Yes.
resumes, which is very powerful. And you have a lesson, and you have children with slow learning in there, or somebody with dyslexia over there, where you have to go slow, go step by step. And say, for example, you are teaching photosynthesis. So you can just say, break down photosynthesis for a child who is dyslexic. So they will simplify the entire process step by step, and provide you with a script that will help you reach out to a child who is dyslexic. You have a child in class who does not understand English,
Yes.
And he only speaks Hindi or some other language. You can actually get the translating tool to actually translate it ChatGPT might not do it. I jumped the gun there a little bit, but you know, translation, summarizing, research, creating articles, creating stories. Somebody was telling me that he also enjoys reading poetry written with the help of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Now, I must give a caution over here that while we get carried away with what ChatGPT can do for us, it should not actually result in presenting poetry or stories which you have created through ChatGPT as your own creation, because the danger there is that you are creating stuff but your mind is not growing.
Yeah, there's no creativity now,
Yeah.
no research is being done.
Yes, so it is important, and that's why it is important for you to very strategically use AI, and therefore teachers, I believe, you need to understand the pros and cons of these tools. For instance, say about a few years ago, plagiarism was a big thing, and there were a lot of people who would from the internet pick up content and just cut and paste.
Copy paste, yeah.
And to the average eye it looks very good and it looks like original work, but it was plagiarized, and a lot of software is now available to actually detect plagiarism.
Yes.
So I think it's important to also be wary of the fact that AI is a great tool and it's a great thing to work with. For somebody like me who's 66, it might be great for me to write my articles in that, because I'm just enjoying life.
And also, sir, you have to be very specific when it comes to giving a prompt. Only then it will be able to deliver you best possible filtered results.
Absolutely. And that prompt comes with practice.
Yes.
You don't get it around the first time.
Yeah.
So alongside ChatGPT, you have Copilot, which is a product from Microsoft, and you also have Gemini, Google Gemini. All these three products are similar, and they actually perform the same thing. So some people prefer ChatGPT, some people prefer Copilot, some people prefer Google Gemini. Now Copilot, for instance, comes with Windows 365. 360 rather, Windows 360. So it comes as part of the package. So, but there are minor variations in the way you engage with it, but the end capabilities of all these softwares or these AI tools are the same. So those are 2-3 things. Now another very interesting thing I realized was that I was contemplating writing a biography of myself, and I don't have the patience to sit down and type it all out. So somebody suggested to me, why don't you just speak it out? So I said, then somebody has to write it anyway. He said, no problems. There are tools, AI tools, where you can put these, put your spoken recordings, and it will convert it into text.
Wow.
And there's something called Otter, for instance. Otter is something which transcribes whatever is spoken. It just transcribes.
We also see in mobile phones, speech to text option is there.
Yes. Then you have there's another very, very powerful tool called TurboScribe. Now all these people provide you a certain amount of free usage, and that's a regular thing. And so if your usage is defined and limited, you can actually use some of these tools and use that forever, because you don't have to pay for it. So TurboScribe is something that you might want to try. Otter is something that you might want to try. So these are two tools which I have used for transcribing. I do a podcast.
Wow.
And for the hearing impaired people, I actually have a transcription put across. So that transcription is got through TurboScribe, initially through Otter. Now we do it through TurboScribe. So all you do is take the audio file, paste it in TurboScribe, and you get a notepad file with the entire text.
Also WhatsApp Meta, what do you think
Yes,
about
WhatsApp Meta is another tool. It may not be as descriptive and as detailed as ChatGPT, but on the go you can gather information.
It's on the similar lines, right?
It's similar, but it's not as detailed. but it does similar things. And actually, when most of us are on WhatsApp most of the time, so it's easy for us to just send what meta of WhatsApp message, and instantly you get the answer. You can verbally do it. You can type it out. Now all these apps we talked about, ChatGPT, the Gemini,
TurboScribe, WhatsApp Meta.
Now all these also have apps. There is another app which is called Perplexity, which is again a thing which is, people say, I have not used it extensively, but people say it's far more advanced than, say, the ChatGPT is, but it's a paid thing, so we don't go there right now. Then I use something called Seeing AI. Now Seeing AI is it again, you have a piece of paper with text on it, you point the cell phone onto that text, it will guide you how to position your phone, and once your positioning is right, it will read what is on the piece of paper. And if you have very often, I've traveled alone quite a bit, so sometimes I get confused with the color of the pant and shirt. So I use Seeing AI to actually tell me what the colors are, and so that is another thing. Then Seeing AI also tells you the currency, the currency notes. It tells you a 20 rupee note, 50 rupee note, denomination, and so on. So and they're constantly coming up with newer features. The latest feature, which I haven't used but I've read about, is that it also describes videos. So you're watching a video, there are a lot of videos that are floating around where there is no voiceover, there's no voice kind of articulating what's in the picture, or there are no dialogues, it's just music and a picture. So Seeing AI can be used to actually get that picture described to you.
Right.
That's one. Then there is another AI which is another. So Seeing AI is essentially right now available on voice on iPhones, but there is another app called Be My Eyes, which is a very dynamic app. You have two types of interface with this app, and I like to kind of give you some case stories where I have used it personally. So very often when you travel and you're staying in a hotel, you in the washroom, you have several bottles which look identical.
Yes.
You have the shampoo, you have the conditioner, you have the body wash and whatnot. Visually they might be different because probably it's labeled, and the colors of the bottles also might be different. But for a blind person, it is inaccessible. So what Be My Eyes does is, you can point, it has the option of calling volunteers from across the world. So you press the call volunteer option, point your camera to the bottles, and the person on the line could be from India, could be from the US, could be from anywhere depending on the time of the day, and they will kind of tell you, okay, the leftmost is this. So you are able to then arrange it in a way that you can identify it yourself. I've used it to read signboards. I've used it to get to know bus numbers, and so on and so forth. Then there is another feature here which is called Be My Eyes AI, which is that you take a picture. I'm sitting here right now, and I take a picture of the room. Like I have my phone here, so maybe I'll try and is it here, my phone?
So your phone is, yes, it's just there. Yeah, you're almost there. It's
okay. One second.
Yeah.
Here I got it. So if you might permit me, let me try and give you a.
Sure, sir. Please go ahead.
Speech on.
So I have a screen reading software which is telling me where I am.
Tar to play.
Okay.
Dropbox. Tar to play. HDFC. Sigmira Plus. LinkedIn. Be My Eyes. Double tap to work. Be My Eyes. Unable to set up camera output.
Okay.
Okay. Button. Unable to set up camera output. Unable to set up camera output. Okay.
Is there an internet freeze here? Freeze?
Camera news. Status bar.
Sorry,
item.
sir. Come again.
4:39 p.m.
Okay.
Status bar
Okay.
item.
Let me.
Okay. Button. Okay. Tab bar. Service directory. Selected. Be My AI. Tab. 2 of 5. Mobile service. 1 of 4 bars. Signal strength. Airtel. Status bar. 4G. Status bar. 4:39 p.m. Take picture. Button.
Okay, I'm going to take a picture of.
Take picture. Button. Take picture.
I think
Take picture. Button.
there's only one bar on my phone for the internet connectivity. So I just like to explain it. It's not going to work here
Yes,
because of the
yes.
internet. So when I take a picture of here of this part of the room, it will actually process the picture and then describe what is in that space. So it will say that there is a lady sitting here, a pretty lady sitting here.
Thank you.
It will talk about various other things. I can't see what's around, so I can't tell you what it is. But but it will describe whatever is in the room. And I discovered that the description that AI gives you is far better than a human description.
Yes.
Very often my wife describes things, and I find a lot of things missing. But when I use this to describe, it gets into minor details, and then I can ask sub questions.
Right.
So what happens is when you are in the classroom and you take pictures of diagrams, for example, you have pictures of maps, you have pictures of graphs, and then AI will describe that to you.
Lovely.
And that description gives the person, and then the teacher can then support that understanding with further explanation.
Right, sir.
So let me just shut up my phone, otherwise he'll keep talking.
Yes, it will keep disturbing us while we are conversating with each other. Yeah.
So blind people especially, they actually find mathematics, geography, science subjects very difficult to handle.
Right, sir.
So, and that is primarily because the visuals are used extensively to explain concepts. You talk about even something like photosynthesis.
Yeah.
Teachers feel most comfortable showing a diagram and then taking the person through the diagram. So if the diagram can be described, and you have the potential of a possibility of asking further questions and getting further details of the picture, then the job of the teacher becomes much easier, because part of the description is done in a manner which is even better than what a human being can do.
Right.
So likewise, the concepts of Pythagoras theorem, for example, or geometry.
Right.
So the AI picture will describe, and the blind person or visually impaired person gets a sense of what it is. Likewise, the captioning feature, which again AI can offer, helps the this hearing impaired people. Probably in times to come, AI also would be able to translate verbal what is spoken out. It probably can translate it into sign language.
Yes.
So things are happening, and it's happening at a very hectic pace. And I think it's important that teachers start taking note of AI and start getting to know AI, start experimenting with AI. I would think that even people who are involved in policy start looking at AI and seeing how AI can make teaching more revolutionary in terms of participatory, where the student and the teachers collaborate, discuss subjects rather than depending on what the teacher and depending on the teacher's communication skills. Instead, have a dialogue and learn through dialogue supported by AI, and you'll find by 2047, when Amrit Kal happens, the citizens also are far advanced and evolved because of the use of AI in the classroom.
Absolutely.
And blind and disabled students also become active participants in this whole process, because the whole thing is accessible.
Yeah, true. And so, by the way, we have a glass of water for you whenever you feel like having water.
Yeah, I don't have my AI working, so I'll need to figure out where the glass is.
Don't worry. So yes, just stretch your hand a bit. Yes, it's right there, and there is a lid. I can remove the lid for you.
Yeah. So I'll just have a sip while you
Yes,
ask the next question.
of course. While you're having a sip, I'm just looking at my screen, and these are wonderful use cases that you have described when we talk about Google Transcribe for supporting students with hearing impairment and everything. And now, sir, we are also left with like 10 to 15 more minutes. So there is something that you have brought to demonstrate for all of us. So why don't we quickly go to that segment, because I was waiting very, curiously for the same, that what is it and how it works, because we have been watching these demonstrations, the links that you have shared with us that we can see on the PowerPoint presentations. You mentioned about Chat GPT, we talked about Google Transcribe, and there's so many other things that are there. So I just want to tell you that apart from using Be My Eyes or Be My Eyes AI, Seeing AI, all these things that you have shared, there is something that I can see you wearing you right now. It appears to me like some wonderful sunglasses, but are these normal sunglasses or what exactly they are? I don't know.
Well, they are normal sunglasses fitted with some technology.
Okay. So why don't you demonstrate that to us?
Well, the phone has just told me that, the glasses have just told me that I have got a WhatsApp message.
Okay.
But I shall not waste your time by reading that WhatsApp message just now.
Okay.
So anyway, so these are smart glasses, and smart glasses are appearing all over the place in different shapes and forms. In terms of style and looks and aesthetics, this has been probably the smartest that I have seen. So I acquired one. So it has certain manual features, it has certain AI features. So I have actually picked up these glasses before it's actually launched.
We can't take the name of the brand.
Yeah, we won't take the brand name. It has not been launched as yet.
In India.
In India.
Yeah.
Therefore, the AI features are not activated at the moment.
Okay.
Moment it will be activated, it will do. But I will talk about the AI features as well.
Yes.
So to begin with, it actually has a camera over here, and it's got 5 speakers,
Yes.
which are located along the.
Let's zoom into our expert, and our viewers can actually see the glasses quite clearly. Yeah.
And then you have a microphone. So when I speak, this glass actually responds to me.
Okay.
And so right now what it does is I just have to call out and say I want to call my wife, or I want to call somebody. The numbers are there in my phone book, so it just picks up the phone and just calls, and then I can just speak. My phone can be in my pocket, or it can be in the next room, because it's connected to my phone by Bluetooth. I can similarly accept, access Amazon and Apple Music. I can, basically I can listen to music I want. I can listen to podcasts. Now, if I'm in a shop, for example, and I have a whole lot of stuff in front of me,
Okay.
and I don't know how what is what. Normal course of things, I say, "Arey koi hai," and I call somebody to help me out. But now I have the option of doing a video call with my wife, or with my friends, or with anybody around that I know, and activate the video.
Wow.
Then what happens is that person sees everything on their phone screen.
So do we have 2 cameras in this glass, or just one? Because I could see another circular portion over there.
No, there's one camera.
And what about this one on the other side?
No, this side is just probably for symmetry, and there's a switch here.
Okay, switch
where
here.
I can switch on and switch off.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is a function which happens where I can. The other day I was looking at a computer screen, and my screen reader was not working.
Oh.
So I said, "Hey," and I mentioned I don't want to mention like "Hey Google" and "Hey Siri," which we all are familiar with.
Yes.
Similarly, there's a "Hey" something here also.
Okay.
which kind of activates the fellow. And so I said, just tell me what's on the computer screen. And so he said, the computer is on, and it's telling you that the windows are updating, 70 more % to go. Don't switch off your laptop.
Oh.
So that was a warning I got. It was reading what was on the screen. So when the AI thing is active, that's when the whole maza comes in.
Yeah.
You would tell it, hey, whatever, describe what's in front of me. So it will describe what is actually in front of me. Now, if I am standing at a bus stop and I say, hey, what's the number of the bus, or what route is this bus taking? So if I am looking at the signboard, it will read out the signboard. And likewise, if I have a bank statement in front of me, I tell him, look and read from top to bottom. Then it will read out the entire page.
Okay.
And if I don't have the time to read the entire page, I just say I want the summary. I just say summarize what's in front of me. So it will summarize. So I believe these glasses also could become very useful tools in your classroom.
So you need to connect these glasses to some device, or they work on their own?
No, it is connected to your phone.
To your phone, all right.
So you download an app on your phone, and that phone then
like we connect these smartwatches.
yeah. So there is another product which has come out of Hyderabad.
Okay.
Again, I won't mention the name of it.
Uh-huh.
Now, they can be used in school, because apart from what happens in the classroom, mobility in the school campus also is very critical.
Yeah.
So this is another device which is connected to your phone by beacon technology, where you actually stick certain tapes in different places. Like you have your class, so you stick a label over there on the door frame, and you record the fact that my class. Okay, so that when you get there, your phone will interact with the label over there, and you will be informed that this is your class.
Wow.
And likewise, so all the places that you need to go to, maybe the washroom, maybe the canteen or cafeteria, maybe the library. So you label these places, and then you can just move around, and then this is also kind of, you can also have these labeling done in shopping malls. So when you go to a shopping mall with hundreds of shops, it will kind of tell you what's on the left, what's on the right.
Yeah.
So this again is technology driven, and so I suddenly feel that people who are blind, people who are deaf, people who are intellectually challenged, they have the opportunity now to actually participate in the mainstream way of life, whether it is the classroom, whether it's the movie hall, whether it is while you're traveling, because tools like AI actually have kind of played the role of a leveler. The gaps which are there, those gaps are getting leveled.
Yes.
Now, I think we as citizens who kind of manage and run the country, when I say we, I'm meaning the teachers, the educationists, I think need to kind of, because you are in class, you see the challenges on a day-to-day basis. I would suggest that you explore the various AI tools that are there on the internet, what is available around you, what people are talking about. Explore them and see how you can actually bridge the gaps that you see in your classrooms. So suddenly you find that there is a slow learner, immediately you have an AI tool which will help you address that.
Yeah.
You have a child who can't see, your forays into AI will tell you, okay, these are ways in which you can actually engage with this blind child in class, and the way he or she can engage with other students in the class. So I think there is a lot of, AI by itself will remain there if you don't reach out to it and try to understand it, try to explore it, try to experiment with it, and then try to express with it, so that you execute a class where AI plays a role in helping you reach out to every student in the class. And then you will find that nobody is sleeping in the class, or nobody is playing book cricket in the class, or doing crosswords in the class. It's all of them are listening, wanting to engage.
Yes, I mean, disability is no more a weakness now, because AI is actually doing wonders in the field of education. And as a teacher, of course, you have all the avenues in your hands to be interactive and collaborative with such students who are differently abled. And as students, you cannot fool a teacher now, because teacher has the power of AI, and I think that's the beauty of AI in education, that it is supporting both ways, teachers and learners. Also, it is making the content more enjoyable, accessible to all. And when we talk about inclusivity, I think this is the right example that AI is setting.
One correction here.
Yeah.
It's not is doing these things, will and can do these
Will
things.
and can. It's still work in progress.
Yeah.
But the way you were explaining the content to me, I was feeling as if I am in this world where these things are happening, because we are talking about immersive technologies these days, where you are in the, I think, real world, some kind of reality, you're experiencing it that way. But yes, we are hopeful that in future, these things will definitely be there, be it AI, generative AI, and everybody will make use of it. And it is not just meant for people who are differently abled, but we also, everybody who is physically abled or any which way you call that person a perfect person, should make use of AI technologies for either learning or imparting the learning. So with this, we have come to the threshold of this particular session. I have to wrap it up here because we are running short of time. But this was a wonderful discussion, and what a brilliant demonstration that was. I'm totally in awe of these glasses. And are they really affordable? Just one quick question.
Well, I just paid 25K for it. That's 25,000.
I'm sure they are. Yes, this suits everybody's pockets. So please go for such things wherever they're launched in the country, or if we are having anything that is produced locally. We must use these gadgets or these assistive devices, because they're very important. And I hope that today's session was indeed beneficial and fruitful. You learned a lot from it. I myself learned a lot, and I became aware of so many things that are present, but I had no clue about them. How AI is doing wonders in education. That was all about we discussed today, AI for inclusive education. And for that, I would like to thank my expert, Mr. George Ibrahim. Sir, thank you so much for your contribution to the session, for making us aware that how education is now indeed accessible to all and will be more in the days to come.
Yeah, thank you for calling me an expert. I'm not an expert, I'm a user and I enjoy using it.
Yeah, thank you
not
so
quite
much,
an expert.
But yes, after using it repeatedly, you have become an expert for us. And now it's time for me to say goodbye. But before that, let's take a look at the schedule, what's coming ahead here on your screen. And in a short while from now, you can watch our session Sahyog. And this is about eating habits for a healthy and well-being of adolescents. And this is the list of all the programs that you have been watching through the day. This is me, Harpreet Kaur, now taking leave of you. Namaskar.